Hello everyone. Our today's topic is carbohydrates. So as we know, carbohydrates are the major energy sources for our human body. So we are going to discuss about carbohydrates in this today's lecture. So substances which supply energy to human body are carbohydrates, and these are the major energy sources for our human body. And what is the definition of carbohydrates? So polyhydroxyaldehydes or polyhydroxyketones are called as carbohydrates, means which are containing a aldehyde group or a ketone group, nothing but a carbonyl group along with polyhydroxy groups, means there are n number of OH hydroxy groups are there, either it may be 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, maybe a large number, right? So these type of compounds are called as carbohydrates. So optically active polyhydroxy carbonyl compounds are called as carbohydrates. So the empirical formula of carbohydrates is this is CnH2OM. So here these are not carbohydrates or hydrates of carbon. So as we are observing the empirical formula here, this is CnH2OM, right? It doesn't mean there is a bond between carbon and water molecule. Okay, so it means these are not the hydrates of carbon atom. These are not the hydrates of carbon atom. These are just carbohydrates. So the hydrogen and oxygen ratio is 2:1. So in generally in the all hydrocarbons, the hydrogen and oxygen atoms ratio is 2:1. So carbohydrates are not the hydrates of carbon. These are the polyhydroxy carbonyl compounds. So all carbohydrates exhibit optical activity. It means all the carbohydrate all the carbohydrates molecules are having asymmetric carbons or chiral carbon, so that they show optical activity, means all are optically active. So that's why they have given a definition here, right? So optically active polyhydroxy carbonyl compounds are carbohydrates. So just observe here glyceraldehyde. So glyceraldehyde is the basic unit for the carbohydrate molecules. Glyceraldehyde is the basic unit, that is CHO, CHOH, CH2OH is the basic unit of carbohydrate molecules. We will see the structures of different carbohydrates based on the glyceraldehyde structure, that we will discuss in next slide. So observe here the nomenclature of carbohydrates. So all carbohydrates are having a suffix of -ose. As we know that glucose, fructose, mannose, lactose, galactose. So all the carbohydrates molecules are having a suffix in the name is -ose. -ose suffix is there, like glucose, sucrose, right? So if 3 carbon atoms are there in that particular carbohydrate, that those are called trioses because of 3 carbon atoms. 4 carbon atoms, those are tetroses. If 5 carbon atoms, those are pentoses. If 6 carbon atoms, those are hexoses. Like this, based on the number of carbons, the name of carbohydrates would be there. So triose means 3 carbons, like that hexose means 6 carbons, right? So here in the carbohydrate molecules, if aldehyde group is present, if aldehyde functional group is present, so those are called as aldoses. Those are aldoses. If keto group is present, those are ketoses. If keto group is present, those are ketoses. So based on the functional group which is there, right? Just see an example, that is aldopentose. So aldopentose means aldo is giving a information about the functional group, so whether it is aldehyde or ketone, that means aldehyde group is there. And pentose means, pent means 5, so 5 carbons are there, so means this carbon is containing one aldehyde functional group with 5 carbon atoms, so that is aldopentose, right. So here the classification of carbohydrates based on the number, so here observe here, carbohydrates are classified into monosaccharides, oligosaccharides and polysaccharides. Monosaccharides means one simple molecule of carbohydrate, one simple or single molecule of carbohydrate, so those are called monosaccharides. And the second one is oligosaccharides. Oligosaccharides means, so these are consisting either it may be 2 or 3 units of simple carbohydrates. And the next one is polysaccharides. So polysaccharides means, the name itself it is giving, poly means large number, so many number of carbohydrate units are there in this polysaccharides, right. So first one is monosaccharides. So monosaccharides are two types, one is aldoses, for example glucose, another one is ketoses, for example fructose, right. So aldoses, ketoses. So aldoses means, so which contains aldehyde functional group, ketoses means which contain keto functional group. So the second one is oligosaccharides. So oligosaccharides are containing either 2 or 3 units of carbohydrates, right. So here those are disaccharides and trisaccharides. Disaccharides means which are consisting of 2 units of monosaccharides, So for example sucrose, lactose, maltose, these are the examples for disaccharides. The next one is trisaccharides. Trisaccharides means which are containing 3 units of monosaccharides, so those are called trisaccharides, for example raffinose. So raffinose will contain 3 units of monosaccharides. So here these two di and trisaccharides comes under oligosaccharides, right. The next one is polysaccharides. So here polysaccharides means large number of monosaccharide units are present, so those are called polysaccharides. So here if these polysaccharides are two types, one is homopolysaccharides and heteropolysaccharides. Homopolysaccharides means a carbohydrate molecule will contain same type of monosaccharides, means all the small subunits are similar type of monosaccharide units. For example starch is containing only glucose molecules, and cellulose is also made up of with glucose. Inulin is also made up of with glucose, right. So means these all are consisting of only one particular monosaccharide or one unit of particular carbohydrate. The next one is heteropolysaccharides. Heteropolysaccharides means this will contain different type of monosaccharides, which are attached with, so that a polysaccharide is formed. So this is the classification based on the number of units of carbohydrate molecules present. So that is monosaccharides, oligosaccharides and polysaccharides. Next one is based on the reducing activity, or reactivity of carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are classified into two types, one is sugars, the next one is non-sugars. So sugars are classified into two types, one is reducing sugars and non-reducing sugars, based on the reducing reactivity or reducing activity of tolens and Fehling's reagent, right. So if sugars which can reduce the tolens and Fehling's reagent, those are called reducing sugars. If those are not reducing tolens and Fehling's solution, those are called non-reducing sugars. First one is reducing sugars. So here sugars which reduces tolens and Fehling's reagents are called as reducing sugars. What is tolens reagent? Tollens reagent is ammonical silver nitrate. Ammonical silver nitrate is called as Tollens reagent. So here when Tollens reagent is consisting of Ag plus ions, so when it is reduced, then Ag plus will take an electron, it will be reduced to Ag. So a white coating would be observed on the walls of test tube, right? So Fehling's reagent. So what is Fehling's reagent? Fehling's reagent is the mixture of potassium tartarate and copper sulfate. So when it is reduced, then that will be converted, that copper will be converted into cuprous oxide, that is Cu2O. Cu plus 2 is converted to Cu plus 1, so that it is reduced. So cuprous oxide is in red color, so that you will observe red color when Fehling solution is reduced, right? So here the carbohydrate units which reduces both Tollens and Fehling's reagents are called as reducing sugars. Then which type of carbohydrates comes under reducing sugars? So example is aldoses. Aldoses which are having free C double bond OH, nothing but free aldehyde group at C1 carbon. Aldoses which are having aldehyde, that is free C double bond OH group at C1 carbon, those type of carbohydrates are comes under reducing sugars. And also ketoses which are having carbonyl group, that is keto group at C2 carbon. So those are the examples for reducing sugars. So aldoses which are having free aldehyde group at C1 carbon, ketoses which are having keto C double bond O group at second carbon are the reducing sugars. So reducing sugars exhibit mutarotation. We will see what is mutarotation later. Then these forms osazone, okay, and these forms oximes with hydroxylamine. Reducing sugars exhibit mutarotation, forms osazone and oximes with hydroxylamine. So these things we will discuss in the next slides. So what is mutarotation, osazone formation and oximes, right? So here the examples for reducing sugars is all monosaccharides like glucose, mannose, fructose, arabinose, xylose, lixose, all are the examples for reducing sugars. And all disaccharides except sucrose, are comes under reducing sugars, means these reduces Tollens and Fehling's reagents. For example, maltose and lactose are the examples for disaccharides which are reducing sugars. Sucrose is not a reducing sugar, though it is a disaccharide, it is not reducing sugar, right? All monosaccharides and all disaccharides except sucrose. So reducing sugars in generally are in the form of hemiacetal and hemiketal, either hemiacetal form or hemiketal form. These are the properties of reducing sugars: mutarotation, osazone formation, oxime with hydroxylamine, and these are in the form of hemiacetal or hemiketal form. Next is non-reducing sugars. So here the sugars which does not reduce Tollens and Fehling's reagents are called as non-reducing sugars. So these do not contain free carbonyl group at C1 and C2 position. That's why these are unable to reduce the Tollens and Fehling's reagent. So that right. So these will not contain any carbonyl group at C1 and C2 position, right? Now these doesn't show mutarotation, these doesn't form osazone, and these will not give oxime with hydroxylamine, right? So because these are non-reducing sugars, these are not having any carbonyl group at C1 and C2 carbon, right? So non-reducing sugars in the form of acetal or ketal form, that's why these will not show mutarotation. So just observe here, as we have discussed that deglyceraldehyde is a basic unit for the carbohydrates. So just observe here, this is deglyceraldehyde, this is deglyceraldehyde, that is CHO, CH, CH, OH, CH2OH. Okay. So here if I am not writing anything, that is hydrogen. So here for example here, so here I didn't write that hydrogen. So if it is if there is no atom, we have to consider in this slide it is as H, hydrogen atom. So observe here, so here this is the structure of deglyceraldehyde. So from this, if we increase one more carbon, one more CHOH, that is one carbon along with a hydroxyl group, then there we will get two types of carbohydrates. One is D-erythrose and another one is D-threose. We have to understand what is D and L, that I will discuss later, right? So deglyceraldehyde, because as the OH group is at right side, so that's why this is called deglyceraldehyde. And here also the OH group is at right side, here also the OH group is at right side, that's why this is D-threose and D-erythrose. So the as this is the 4 carbons carbohydrate, erythrose and threose. So one CHOH group is added here, then if OH group is at right side, that is D-erythrose, and left side, that is D-threose, right? The next one is to the D-erythrose we will add one more carbon, so that will give D-ribose and D-arabinose, and again the same thing to the D-threose, will be adding one more carbon, that is one more CHOH, so then that gives D-xylose and D-lixose, this is the structure, and D-lixose, right? So we are adding one more CHOH to the D-ribose, so then what will happen, D-ribose, then what will, there you will get two different 6 carbons carbohydrates, that is hexoses will be formed. One is D-allose and D-altrose, and to the arabinose we will be adding another carbon, so that we will be getting, this is arabinose, we will be adding one more carbon, so then there will be, this is a pentose, because it is containing 5 carbon atoms. D-arabinose is containing 5 carbon atoms, so it is a pentose. So to this if we add one more carbon, so then there will be getting hexoses. Those two hexoses are this, so one is D-glucose and another one is D-mannose. This is the structure of D-glucose and this is the structure of D-mannose. And similar thing to the 5-membered carbohydrate xylose, if we add one more carbon, so there will be getting 2 hexoses. So one is D-gulose, and another one is D-iodose, D-gulose and D-iodose. And here D-lixose is also a 5-membered carbohydrate. To that, if we add one more carbon, there will be getting 2 hexoses. So one is D-galactose and D-talose. One is D-galactose and talose. D-galactose and D-talose. So here, just observe here. So the first one is deglyceraldehyde, that is 3 carbons carbohydrate, and to that we have added one more carbon. We will be getting 4 carbons having carbohydrates. One is D-erythrose and D-threose, right? So this OH is right side and this OH is left side to the new carbon, and then for this D-erythrose we will be adding one more carbon, that will give 5-membered. This is 3 carbons. This is triose, and this is tetroses, and these are pentoses, and these are hexoses. These are trioses, these are tetroses, these are pentoses, these are hexoses, right. So gradually we are adding one more carbon, right. So here D-erythrose, by adding one more carbon, that pentose will be there. Those two pentose are, one is D-ribose and D-arabinose, and D-ribose will give by adding one more carbon, it will give hexoses, that is D-allose and D-aldrose, and here arabinose will give two this, one is D-glucose and D-mannose, and xylose will give two, that is D-gulose and D-iodose. From D-lixose we will be getting two, that is D-galactose and D-talose. So these are the different kind of structures of trioses, tetroses, pentoses, and hexoses. So these are the monosaccharide molecules of carbohydrates, right. So here as we know, so all carbohydrates are containing asymmetric centers. Asymmetric centers are chiral carbons. So right, for example, this triose will have one chiral center, tetrose will have two, pentose will have three, hexose will have four carbon atoms, four chiral carbons or four asymmetric carbons are there here, right. So based on the number of asymmetric carbons, the optical isomers which are formed would be there, right. So here the number of stereoisomers are the number of optical isomers which are possible is equals to 2 to the power of n. So here the value of n is number of asymmetric carbons or the chiral carbons which are present in the carbohydrate molecules. So just take a pentose, that is arabinose. So arabinose is pentose, so that it is having three asymmetric centers, asymmetric carbons, then the optical isomers are equals to 2 to the power of 3, that is 8. For example, glucose is having 4 asymmetric centers, so the optical isomers equals to 2 to the power of 4, that is 16. So based on the number of based on this formula we will calculate the number of optical isomers which are available or possible for the particular carbohydrate. Now we will be seeing about the preparation and structural elucidation of glucose. So right, as we know, the majority of the carbohydrate which is present in our food is glucose, right. So how the glucose is prepared, right. So glucose majorly is prepared on plants, right. So glucose is prepared by the plants and consumed by us human beings as well as animals, right. So here that reaction is photosynthesis. So in photosynthesis reaction, carbon dioxide and water will react each other in the presence of light and chlorophyll, then those will give glucose plus oxygen, glucose plus oxygen. So this reaction is called photosynthesis reaction. Through this glucose is prepared. The next one is sucrose. Sucrose formula is C12H22O11, right. So when sucrose is hydrolyzed, when sucrose is a disaccharide, when it is hydrolyzed we will be getting D plus glucose and D minus fructose, D minus fructose. Either invertase enzyme is also hydrolyze the sucrose into D glucose and D fructose, D glucose into and D fructose. This is the second one. And third one is maltose. So when maltose is a disaccharide which is consisting of only two molecules of glucose. So when maltose is hydrolyzed, then we will be getting two molecules of glucose. The next one is lactose. So when lactose is hydrolyzed, when lactose is hydrolyzed, we will be getting two molecules. One is glucose and galactose, glucose and galactose. The next one is starch. So starch is a polysaccharide of glucose, polysaccharide of glucose. So then when starch is hydrolyzed, we will be getting a large number of glucose molecules. And here the next one is raffinose. So raffinose is a triose as we have discussed earlier, right. So when raffinose is hydrolyzed, so you will be getting glucose, fructose and galactose. Glucose, fructose and galactose. So these all are the preparation methods of preparation of glucose, right? So majorly photosynthesis reaction is the major reaction for the preparation of the glucose molecule, right? Next is structural elucidation of glucose. Structural elucidation of glucose, right? So as means what is how the, so as we have discussed that polyhydroxy aldehydes or ketones are called as carbohydrates. So in that how the hydroxy groups are arranged in the glucose molecule, and what kind of functional group, whether it is aldehyde or ketone, is present in the glucose will be determining now. That is what structural elucidation of glucose, right? So here the formula of glucose is this, that we know, that is C6H12O6. C6H12O6. The ratio of carbon and hydrogen is 1:2. 1:2. So this is indicating that this glucose molecule is a aliphatic compound or a alicyclic compound. Is a aliphatic, that is nothing but a simple either alkane, alkene, alkyne, right? So that kind of aliphatic compound or alicyclic. Alicyclic compound means which is having a single cycle, like cycloalkanes, right? But it's not a aromatic compound. So based on this ratio, the glucose molecule is a aliphatic or alicyclic compound. So if the ratio of carbons and hydrogens ratio is 1:1, then that compound would be a aromatic compound, right? So here we will be not observing that ratio, that's why it is not a aromatic compound. This is the first thing. The second one is a reaction with NH2OH, reaction with hydroxylamine. So when glucose is reacted with hydroxylamine, it forms oxime. That is C double bond O. When it is glucose is reacted with hydroxylamine, so it is forming oxime. So this is indicating that, so there is a carbonyl group which is present in the glucose molecule. So that is, there is a C double bond O group is present in the glucose molecule, right? So this is the evidence of carbonyl group present in the glucose. The next one is reaction with hydrogen cyanide, reaction with HCN. So when glucose is reacted with HCN, it forms cyanohydrin. So cyanohydrin is formed. So here also this is indicating that there is a carbonyl group is present. So there is a carbonyl group is present, that is C double bond O. Now we have to identify this carbonyl group, whether it is aldehyde or ketones, right? So to identify that, we will be going for the next thing, that is test with Tollens and Fehling's reagents. Right? As we know that what is Tollens reagent? Ammonical silver nitrate. And what is Fehling's reagent? That is CuSO4 plus potassium tartarate. Right? So when glucose is added to a Tollens reagent, so then this glucose reduces the Tollens reagent, right? So formation of Ag coating, silver white coating in the test tube walls is observed. So this is indicating that glucose is reducing Tollens reagent. It means glucose is having aldehyde functional group, right? And when to the glucose solution, if we add Fehling's reagent, that Fehling's reagent is also reduced, right? So this is also indication of presence of aldehyde functional group. So while reducing the Fehling's reagent, what we will observe? So in the Fehling's reagent, Cu plus 2 is there. That Cu plus 2 is converted to Cu2O, cuprous oxide. Cuprous oxide would be formed. So this is in red color, right? So when we observe red color, after addition of Fehling's reagent to the glucose solution, then the Fehling's reagent is reduced. So that means that glucose is having a aldehyde functional group. So these two tests, a test with the Tollens reagent and a test with Fehling's reagent, is confirmed that there is a aldehyde functional group is present in the glucose molecule, right. So here the next thing, reaction with HI and red phosphorus, nothing but reduction with HI and red phosphorus. So when glucose is reduced in the presence of HI and red phosphorus, it forms N-hexane. So this is indicating that all the 6 carbons are in single straight chain. So there is no branches in the glucose molecules, right. So because it is forming N-hexane means all the carbons are in single straight chain. 6 carbons are in the single straight chain, right. So this reduction reaction with HI and red phosphorus confirms that all the 6 carbon atoms in the glucose in the straight chain form, right. The next one is reaction with acetic anhydride or acetylation reaction. Acetylation reaction or reaction with acetic anhydride, right. So acetic anhydride is this, that is Ac2O, right. This is acetic anhydride. It means 2 acetic acid molecules undergoing for condensation and forms acetic anhydride, that is Ac2O, right. So when glucose is reacted with acetic anhydride, so there is a formation of pentaacetyl derivative and 5 moles of acetic acid is formed. There is a formation of pentaacetyl derivative and 5 moles of acetic acid is formed, right. So here acetic anhydride is a reagent which react with the compounds which are containing active hydrogens, right, active hydrogens. So those will take that active hydrogens and this bond will break, and this acetyl group is added to the compound and this will become a acetic acid by taking the reactive hydrogen. So here the number of molecules of acetic acid is released, or the number of molecules of acetic acid which is formed in the reaction is equal to the number of active hydrogens in the compound, right. So here in the reaction with acetic anhydride is giving 5 moles of acetic acid. So that means 5 moles of acetic acid is formed. That means there are 5 OH groups which are present in the glucose molecule. So we can confirm that 5 OH groups are present in the glucose molecule with the acetylation reaction, right. So here we have discussed initially reaction with hydroxylamine and hydrogen cyanide. We confirmed that carbonyl group is present in the glucose molecule, and a test with Tollens and Fehling's reagent, we confirmed that aldehyde group is present in the glucose molecule, and through the reduction reaction with HI and red phosphorus, we confirmed that all the 6 carbons of glucose in the single straight chain form, and later through the acetylation reaction we confirmed that there are 5 OH groups are present in the glucose molecule, right. The next one is reaction with PCl5. So when glucose is reacted with PCl5, it forms pentachloro derivative. So this is also confirming that there are 5 OH groups which are present in the glucose molecules. There are 5 OH groups are present in the glucose, right. The next one is oxidation with bromine water. So when glucose, right, so we can write the structure like this because we have got that aldehyde group is present, then 5 OH groups are present, and all the carbon atoms are in single chain, right. That's why I am writing the structure of glucose like this, right. So when this glucose is reacted with bromine water, so bromine water is a mild oxidizing agent, right, which can oxidize the aldehyde group to carboxylic acid, right. So this bromine water is mild oxidizing reagent. This will oxidize the CHO group to the COOH group, right. So this reaction, by the reaction with bromine water of oxidation, this glucose is formed gluconic acid. Gluconic acid is formed with the oxidation reaction with bromine water. So this is indicating that there is a aldehyde group, that is C double bond OH group, is present at one end of glucose molecule, at one end of glucose molecule, right. So we have confirmed that there is a aldehyde group is present in the one end of glucose chain, right. The next one is reaction with strong oxidizing agent, that is HNO3, right. So when this glucose is reacted with strong oxidizing agent HNO3, it forms glucaric acid or saccharic acid. So means both first and last carbon of glucose chain are converted or oxidized to carboxylic acid group. So this is indicating that to the glucose chain, aldehyde group is present at one end and there is a CH2OH group is present at another end of glucose molecule. So this is the confirmation through the reaction with HNO3 oxidation, right. So this is indicating aldehyde group is present at one end of glucose chain and CH2OH group is present at another end of glucose molecule, right. So from all these reactions we have identified or confirmed that the 6 carbon atoms are there in the glucose in a straight chain, and right. So aldehyde group is present, so that because of Tollens and Fehling's reagent we confirmed that aldehyde group is present, and through the acetylation reaction we confirmed that 5 OH groups are there, and through the reaction or oxidation reaction with HNO3 we have confirmed that there is a CH2OH group is at one end of the glucose chain. So from all these confirmation we may write the structure of glucose like this. We may write the structure of glucose like this. This is the structure of glucose, that is C double bond OH, aldehyde group is at first carbon, next is CHOH, 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 CHOH and CH2OH. This is the first carbon, second carbon, third carbon, fourth carbon, fifth carbon, sixth carbon. So this is the structure of hexose, that is 6 carbons carbohydrate, that is glucose. So here second carbon, third carbon, fourth carbon and fifth carbon. So these carbons are asymmetric carbons because these are attached with 4 different kind of groups. So that glucose is having 4 asymmetric carbons, that is C2, C3, C4, C5, and automatically we can calculate the optical isomers which are possible for the glucose, that is equals to 2 to the power of n, so that is 2 to the power of 4 equals to 16, right. Here out of 16 optical isomers, 8 isomers show positive rotation and another 8 isomers show negative optical rotation, right. So glucose, the optical rotation of glucose is 52.7 degrees. The specific rotation of glucose is plus 52.7 degrees, right. So this is a similar structure, that is a structure of D-glucose I have written here. So how that what is the D and L we have to know. So here this capital D comma capital L name or the nomenclature would be given based on the position of high oxidizing group at last asymmetric center, So here in the case of glucose there are 4 asymmetric centers are there, that is first carbon is aldehyde, second carbon, third carbon, fourth carbon, fifth carbon and sixth carbon. So here second, third, fourth, fifth carbons are asymmetric carbons. The fifth carbon is last asymmetric carbon. So here the OH group is at right side, right. So that's why this structure is named as D. So that this is D-glucose, and here I have written plus. So plus comma minus are indicating the optical rotation of particular molecule. Optical rotation of particular molecule. If a molecule rotates plane polarized light towards right side, that is plus compound. If it is left side, that is a levorotatory compound, that is a minus compound. So minus rotation, right? So the optical rotation would be taken as negative value, right? That optical rotation value is taken is positive value when it is rotated plane polarized light towards right side, right? So when it is when a molecule rotates the plane polarized towards right side, that is called dextrorotatory or plus compound, that is dextrorotatory or plus compound. So if rotates left side, that is L levorotatory, that is minus compounds. So here I have written D plus glucose, that means this D, capital D, refers to the highly oxidizing group at right side at last asymmetric center. Plus is indicating the optical rotation of glucose is a positive value. So that means glucose rotating the plane polarized light towards the right side. That's why nothing but this is dextrorotatory compound or plus compound. So that's why we have written this D plus glucose. So this is the structure of chain structure of glucose. Thank you.